Rise and shine, beautiful people. This is Kiki coming to you today to send nothing but love, peace, and positivity your way. Hope that your Tuesday is off to a good start. I woke up a little bit more energized today. I think that rain that came in yesterday, it was a very heavy storm. It seemed like the lightning just hung around my house. But I'm so grateful that the sun always returns after the rain. I just appreciate it. It's all about the cycle of life. And I wanted to talk to you today about some challenges and some things that I've been faced with. And I'll try to make this brief as much as I possibly can. But, when I start to reflect on my life and really step back and really focus on what's really going on in my reality, then I start to connect the dots based on the education that I received that's floating around out here in our society, religion, all that type of stuff. And my observations, I kind of put it together, and this is what I come up with. Okay. So recently I decided to post a video. I put it on my Facebook page and on my YouTube page. So I wanted to pretty much present to people out there that there are healthy alternatives to eating food rather than always gravitating towards that soul food type where there's a lot of high fats and a lot of unhealthy meats and things like that. I grew up on it, and yes, I'm still alive and well, but it's like after a while, when you know something is slowly breaking your body down, that's when it's time to make changes. So when I posted that, my family member, I was getting spam. Leave me alone and go make a sandwich. You get it, spam sandwich. But anyway, my aunt is a cook, and she does her thing. She knows how to cook. The thing is, she is still, I feel like, stuck in the ways of the plantation ways of eating. Like everything has to have something to do with pork. And yes, it may taste good, it may season the food really well, but then at the same time, it affects our family members and the body and the operation of our organs and things like that. And she should know, out of all people, because she helped take care of many of them that had high blood pressure, that had a whole lot of situations, strokes, heart issues. So this is kind of what pushed me to come on, not because I want to rebuttal, not because this is some type of competition, but it's just to bring awareness to people that may be in the same boat I'm in, or dealing with similar situations where you're trying to get your family, get people to understand the importance of change. Change is not a bad thing, especially if you're changing to do something positive for your life, for your health, for your mental health. So I had to pretty much cut off many family members, not because, I done came up and I'm bougie and I got it, I'm better and all this and that. It's because when you really pay attention to the lifestyle of Jesus, even though we wasn't there, but based on what they said in the book, you will understand why Jesus kind of rolled solo. They never said that he hung out with his mama the whole time he was doing his mission. They never said that his dad was like his best friend and they hung out all the time doing his mission. There's a reason why he had to roll solo. Okay. Now, before y'all get into, oh, well, you ain't Jesus, you ain't this and that. Okay. And I say what I say because I have a lot of people in my family that always look for the least little thing to criticize me on, or they try to, downplay the information that I'm sharing. So this is kind of what I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to bring it forward and kind of get to my main point. Okay. So we already know that Jesus is well known around the whole world. Okay. Some people call him different names, but it's pretty much the same person under a different name around the whole world. Okay. And so when we look back at our DNA, we know that if African Americans or black people, brown people was first, and they are the ones that came up with the idea, a certain group of powerful people with unique superhuman abilities or whatever, or extraterrestrial abilities. We'll just put that out there. Because of course we have to get the ideas of superheroes from somebody somewhere. We always mimic what we see. That's just a pattern of life. So I feel like there were some unique black looking, African American looking people that were able to that was highly intelligent enough to know how to splice DNAs with humans, animals, and the earth elements. Okay, that's just I'm just putting it out there. You know, you can research it, but that's just my thoughts on all the information that's being put out there, and I'm putting it together. So if as time went on, okay, we have a group of people that was put here on earth, and of course there were races that intermingled and had other races and stuff like that. So when Jesus came in on the scene, he pretty much carried both DNAs of African American and the Caucasian. So, and if you look closely at him, that's what it looked like. Now I know there's a lot of other religion people that say no, Jesus was black and this and that, but we're just gonna go with the average story, like the story that was put out there heavily before, you know, black people was really allowed to have a voice. Okay, so we're gonna say, okay, Jesus looked kind of like mulatto in a way, kind of looked like the Middle Eastern people. All right, so if, you know, he decided to go around and share his thoughts and ideas of how people should live, the proper way people should live on earth, then, you know, we're gonna say that he was pretty much tapped in. Okay, Jesus was tapped in. He already knew how to activate certain parts of his mind to be able to achieve certain miracles. Okay, like, you know, walking on water, healing the sick, the dead, you know. So he had a combination of roles. He was a counselor, he was a doctor, he was a carpenter, he was a leader. So he carried a lot of roles. Okay, so and I'm not trying to make this a Bible study situation, but I am trying to reach different people that can relate, okay, to what I'm saying. All right, so now this is the things that I feel like when they said that Jesus is the child of God, or when he said he's the child of God, I feel like it was meant for everybody to recognize that. Now I don't have the scriptures in front of me, but there are words that he used to let people know he wasn't put on earth for people to worship him. He was not put on earth for people to make him some type of king or a leader, but people did it anyway. So they formulated their own ideas of how they should label this man that's walking around tapped in and working these miracles that the average humans could not work. And that's because he went and studied a lot of information from the Egyptians, which were black people that was connected to extraterrestrial black people. And he knew how to connect with the elements and knew how to have self-control and use his pineal gland to make miracles and things happen. Okay. Now, during his time on earth, he had to experience persecution, betrayal, physical suffering, poverty. He even had challenges the minute he came out of the womb. Remember, his family had to hurry up and get him to safety. So because some dumbass was walking around killing babies. So, you know, that had to go on. Political threats with his belief against, you know, challenging the governmental system. He dealt with rejections with his disciples, and because nobody didn't step in and fight for him. So, and Judas definitely turned his back. He was abandoned. He was mocked and experienced violence, and he didn't even start the fight. Okay. So, or fight back. So it's like, if you really look at his lifestyle, I feel like we're still experiencing a lot of the similarities that he went through. It may not be to the extreme, maybe more some than others, you know, because we don't know what that young black man, what's his name? Nolan. We don't know if he was tortured or not. There's a lot of black young men that were found dead, and we don't know what they went through before they pretty much, the spirit left their vessel. We don't know. But a lot of people go through the same thing. And that's why I feel like there is a lot of truth that we have the God power within us. So, we deal with persecution, people lying on us. That's the gossiping, people trying to make us look bad when we have good intentions. Something that I always go through, even on my jobs and my family, even with the people that I love, my partner, husband. Okay, betrayal. Okay, physical suffering. If you're eating unhealthy foods, like I keep trying to tell y'all in these videos and my posts on Facebook, when you're eating high greasy foods, yes, it's unhealthy, just like sugar is unhealthy, but it's something about that pork meat that will take you out faster. I mean, all of it, there's a lot of unhealthy foods out there, but it's something about that pork meat with parasites in it, and you thinking, oh, I'm full and it was tasty. To me, I don't feel like it's safe to eat. Okay, none of the meat to me is safe to eat, but I'm just saying, pork particular, if you got to eat your baked chicken, do what you got to do. But to me, pork is not the way to go. And they even stated in the Bible, okay, poverty. Many of us are struggling and trying to make ends meet. And if you are not living like the Pope or like the president of the kings and queens, you're still considered impoverished. You're still like, if you can sit down and your money can make money and you really don't have to do anything, I feel like that's comfortable. But if you still know that if you got to get up and you can't miss a day and your money, I'm just letting you know, middle class, halfway up there to the high class, it's still, the elite still look at us as, okay, we struggling. Okay. Challenges as an infant, a lot of babies are born facing a whole lot of vaccines. To me, that is not healthy. Yes, I am still alive and well, but I feel like my body is not working at the full 100% optimum like it should be, because I was already faced with vaccines that have side effects. That's why they're now coming out admitting that a lot of the vaccines are causing autism in children. All right, political threats. If you speak up or you're not for the Constitution or for the laws, or you try to do, just not follow through with the government bullshit, then yes, you're considered a threat. Rejection. People get rejected every day. Either they're rejected in a relationship, they're rejected from family members, they're rejected from their jobs. Abandonment. If you ain't going along with everybody else's idea, the whole crew, then yes, they will exile you. They will abandon you. Mockery. Yes, then they'll talk about you and laugh, even though they're jealous and they want to have what you have. They want to do what you do, but a lot of them really don't have it in them to do what you do. So they pick on you because they don't understand you. All right. Mockery. Violence. People deal with violence. A lot of times people try to attack people not only physically, but also spiritually, using word spells. Okay. And I'll talk more about that as I go further on. I'm trying to make sure I don't take too long. So I'm just letting you know all of the things that Jesus went through back then. We're still going through it in a more modernized way. And we do have the God power in us. We've just been programmed and hypnotized to think that we don't have a voice, we don't have power. We're just people that's supposed to be kissing the elite ass and following a corrupt government. That's what we were brainwashed to think. Okay. So now during this time, Jesus did not join in none of the bullshit. Okay. That's why he never owned a house, because he didn't see he felt like, okay, why am I owning a house if the government's still claiming it through taxes? He never owned a business because he knew that the government was going to try to come and get taxes from him. You don't really own anything when the government hand is in it. You really don't. A lot of people say, well, I got land. I bet you got to pay taxes to the government. Are they going to come and confiscate it? Jesus did not go chase no bag. Not one time they said that Jesus worked his ass off to go and chase a bag. Now, the carpentry, he probably did it, to help out with his family and help, contribute in the community. Some people needed furniture and he was gifted and skilled at it. Now, he probably did receive money from it. I don't know. But I know he did not go and kill people for money. I know he did not prostitute people, or he didn't prostitute himself for money. I know that he did not rob anybody. He did not do all these low vibrational sinful things for money. So, okay, so we're going to put that out there now. But yet, We're part of God, just like Jesus. But at the same time, we pray to Jesus and God, but then we don't acknowledge the power within us and follow the same Christ-like behavior. Okay. So we know that, yes, Jesus was a healer. He uplifted everybody. He encouraged people to confess to their sins to relieve their conscience. Because when you're walking around with a whole lot of bullshit hidden in you, that causes stress. PTSD, I believe. That is not a healthy thing. Or is it PTDS? Okay. Post-traumatic disorder syndrome. Okay, yeah. You know what I meant. So, and he had self-control. So even though, yes, he had a little sip of wine with the group, because they said he turned water into wine, he did not become an alcoholic. He did not abuse it. He did not get high. And I'm pretty sure they had things that you can get high from, because they even stated that the Egyptians had marijuana. They had, strong alcohol drinks and things that make you feel delusional. That existed during Jesus' days, but he did not get involved in that, even though he did go hang out with some of the Egyptians and learn from their schools. All right. He was fearless. So no matter how many times people came at him full of demons, he did not feel like he had to fight them. He used his words and he was successful at it. And that was his reward. And he was blessed for it. And he did not have to struggle while he lived on land. People always offered a home. They always offered him food. That's how he attracted his blessings, by giving and doing good deeds. Okay, but people want to skip steps. People don't want to do that. They want to use people. They want to deceive people. So, all right. So this is what I'm bringing in. The words of universal laws. I'm only going to touch on a few of them. Divine oneness. That is a part of the universal law. That means everything is connected. So even though we have a lot of races around here acting like they're better than one another, we're all connected. Because I know some KKK people out there wishing all the other races disappeared. They don't want no African race. They don't want no Asian race, no Hispanic race. They want all of them to disappear. And if it did, this world would not operate the same. I promise you that. Because our bodies were designed and created by whoever created us to connect with the earth. So if you got foreign people that's mutant walking around here, they're not going to last long. I promise you that. Okay? And I'm not even a scientist, and I know that. All right. Oh, yeah. And I meant to say that Jesus was also tapped in because he was able to predict who would betray him. When Peter betrayed him, he was able to predict that. So he was psychic as well. All right. Here's another one. Action, physical steps. So a lot of people thinking that, okay, I'm going to just be all this talk, but I ain't going to make no move. You can't be like that, especially if you want things to work out in your life. You want blessings to come in. You can't sit back and say, well, I done prayed, so I'm going to be lazy, depend on somebody else to do the work for me. No, it does not work that way. Actually, the person that you're using, they're going to get more blessed because they are trying to help your ass out while you sit around and be lazy and just run your mouth. If you sitting in fear, and say if you like somebody, you got a crush on somebody, and you're scared to speak up, or you overthinking, well, if I like her, then I might have to compete against other dudes, and I might have to do this, and she might want more money from me, and this, and you sit up there and you sit in fear, then somebody else gonna step in and do what they are confident in doing, because you sitting over there scared and thinking about all of the side effects. Oh man, I don't know, we might have different religious ideas, my parents might. But listen, if the woman is not out here killing people, or the man ain't out here killing people, you have to work with somebody. Okay, you got to work with somebody. All right. Attraction. You are what you attract. Now if you sit over there having low self-esteem, you're demonic, you sitting up there thinking about sinful things, you're going to attract that same type of person in your life. All right. I told you, I am a witness of that. I had low self-esteem. I was suicidal because my household that I grew up in was very, very dysfunctional. And I felt like the black sheep. I felt like I did not have no reason to be here. And I ended up attracting the same type of person, but he was able to hide his depression, but I was able to see through it because he showed me all the signs that I had. So that's what you got to be careful about your mind. That's why you got to heal. Try to go back through your childhood issues or your brokenhearted issues so you don't attract those kind of people. And this world is based on a cycle. Just like I said, it's a rhythmic cycle. As the sun go up, come out, the moon scale back. When the nighttime comes, the sun scale back. It's a cycle. When it rains and it's done, then the sun and the rainbow come out. It's a cycle. When you have a baby, it grows older until it reaches a certain age peak, and then it dies. And then there's another seed being planted and the baby being born. So that is the cycle of life. So with all that being said, while we're walking around being distracted, because that's what the government wants us to be, distracted about racism, you got to understand, they are creating division, because the more we're divided, the more they have more control over us. They can distract us with entertainment, or they can distract us with all these fake westernized medicines that's promising to heal us. They are going to continue to distract us so we can keep working hard to compete against each other, so we can keep draining ourselves and misusing the resources that we're blessed with. Like I said, we are many me's, many Jesuses. I said it weird, but we are like him, walking around in a more modernized time. Okay, so if he was able to survive, yes, he did. His vessel probably was destroyed, but his spirit is not destroyed. So if he was able to maneuver through the matrix back in his days and make it through, I mean, because they didn't say that. I mean, I feel like he would have had a longer life. Honestly, he wasn't eating greasy fried fatback pork chops and meat, ham hock. He wasn't eating that. He fasted a lot. He knew how to de-escalate violent people. So, he knew how to avoid being tempted with, unhealthy sexual behavior. They never said he was involved in prostituting. Actually, he actually saved a prostitute life. He, and I don't, like I said, there are other books out there that they done edited and took out the Bible, but I'm just going off of the basic original information that was taught to me when I was going to a Pentecostal church. So with all that being said, we need to actually sit down and really try to get tapped in, because you cannot, and it just seems like it's hypocritical for someone to say that Jesus is the wheel, Jesus is the rock, Jesus is the head of my life, but then you are doing the opposite of what Jesus was doing when he was alive. It just doesn't make sense. And you can't switch on the Jesus mode and turn it off when you feel like it. Now, there are times when you do need to protect yourself. Okay. And I felt like if Jesus really, 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 really wanted to use his powers, he could have wiped everybody out. If he really, I mean, for somebody to be able to control weather, come on now. He could have just shut all that shit down with the Pharisees. But he knew that everybody have their own destiny and their own way of living, and everybody is connected. Why would he want to take out people that's actually connected? So I'm pretty sure they all suffered with some type of karma, the people that attacked him. But like I'm saying, like I'm trying to get y'all to understand, and I had to come to realize this too. I had to wake myself up, because I walked around bitter. I was pissed off with my family. I was pissed off with my partner. I was pissed off with my jobs. I was pissed off with everybody. But then I had to understand that, and not that I'm fully on this whole religious trip with, oh, you gotta be saved with Jesus. No, and I've been through the whole process and still dealt with bullshit. So the thing is, you got to save yourself. You really got to save yourself, and you have to really study yourself to be approved. You really got to erase everything that you was programmed with, from your pastor to your grandparents to what was passed down in your family, because you will be trapped. You will get trapped. I'm telling you, a lot of religious people get trapped, and then they start going backsliding, because they come to a point where they don't know how to conquer temptations in sinful ways, or knowing how to shut off the people that they used to. It's hard to shut off your own parents. Of course, I feel you. I understand. That's your mama. That's your love. That's all you know. But a lot of times, they have been contaminated with the demonic spirits that was passed around by the elites. Demonic spirits of lust, stealing, misabusing your temple, your body, with all kinds of drugs, alcohol, and sex. Sitting around letting these demonic spirits speak in your brain negatively. Making you feel like everybody is out to get you. But you'll just have to use discernment and know that you are protected, because you do hold the God power. So I'm just going to stop it here. But, getting mad, racists fighting against racists is not the answer. If you don't believe me, go on back and look at history. Look at those stories about different wars. Everybody's still stuck and still in the same situation, and they still want to be loved, and they still want to be comfortable with resources. So Don't let these backward ass laws and corrupt government take your life spiritually and physically like they did Jesus. With that being said, I love you. Until next time, peace out.